there were two pictures, and there was this picture of a successful businessman, and then there was a picture of a sadhu. And then this businessman is saying that 8 minutes of meditation gives me the strength to conquer the world, and or gives me the focus to conquer the world. And then the yogi is saying that 1 hour of meditation and you wouldn't need to conquer the world. So that person is saying that, 8 minutes of meditation is giving me the focus to conquer the world. But the yogi says that if you meditated for 1 hour, then you wouldn't need to conquer the world. So you would be released from the, the desire to conquer the world. So I was reminded of this very beautiful picture because today Baba is talking about karmic bondages. And many times children have this question that what is my karam bandhan and what is not my karam bandhan, which means to what extent I am supposed to do something or I'm not, or I can withdraw. But the question is, even if you're given a certain direction, so you see that we listen to the Murli every day, and in the Murli Baba is saying that you live in the world but completely withdraw from the world. So, from this body, from relationships, from whatever there is around you, you completely withdraw your man and buddhi from that and just use it to remember Baba and do Baba's service, right? So, but do we really do that? We don't do that. Why? Because there is a lot of pull of the old world that is inside us, and this body pulls us, this relationships pull us, or things of the world, they pull us, matters of the world pull us. And then there is belief systems of the old world, they pull us, and they pull our mind, body and wealth. They pull our time, thought and energy, and that pull is something which is very individual. So let me tell you one thing. So let's say somebody says that I do not, these days people are having this OCD sometimes, and as one person feels that I have to wash my hands 20 times a day, 20 times in an hour maybe, right? And then you're trying to convince that person that the hand is clean. But what does he think? He thinks that no, your hand is dirty, you are not washing it, and you are asking me also to be dirty like you. Now, so you see, there's this thing inside that soul which is pulling it to wash the hands 20 times an hour. And however much you tell them, you cannot free them from that pull, right? Now, right now you feel that, this is unnecessary and this person is just being very, very insane in doing it. But then however much you think that the other person is not, wise in doing that, that person is feeling the pull of doing it. So similarly, we are all having our own pulls. So, there is this compulsiveness inside us. This compulsiveness which tells us that you have to do this, right? For example, there are some things that Baba says, okay, you have to, so that's allowed in Srimad also. So let's say Baba doesn't say that if you have a body, don't give it rest. No, that is not recommended. Baba would say that if you have a body, so you give it rest. But how much of rest? 5 hours, 6 hours of rest, right? So maximum 6 hours of rest. Or Baba would say that, Baba wouldn't say that don't eat food, don't feed your body. Baba says you have a body, you have to feed it. But feed it with pure food, food that is cooked and served in Baba's remembrance. Then Baba would tell us that if you have a body, you have to keep it clean also. So take a bath twice a day is recommended, because the body gets very dirty in this world. So you have to take a bath. So Baba says these are things that Baba recommends that we have to do. It's not like you have a body and because you have pulled your intellect away from the body, so Baba says just ignore the body. No, Baba would say that, this is according to Srimad. So give your body rest, give it, wake it up, let it sit in meditation, feed the body properly. It's not like don't feed the body, but feed the body not only with food that nourishes the body, but nourishes the soul also. Not the other kind, which is feeding the body but destroying the spiritual vibration. No, do not take that kind of food, Baba would say. So you see, and then Baba would say that if you have little children, it is not recommended that you run away from their responsibility. Cook for them, give them food, send them to school, provide them with good education, right? So Baba would say all that, and then Baba would say it's not like if you have a husband or you have a wife, then don't care for them in illness or in problems, or don't give them don't cook for them or don't earn for them. Baba wouldn't say that. So these things are some things that Baba is asking us to do, because Baba says, okay, when you live in the old world, then these things are recommended. But then there is a lot more of our time, thought, energy, body, mind, and wealth that we are investing in the old world, which is up and above this bare minimum, right? So, how much you think about your body, or how much you think about gratifying your senses, or how much extra sleep you're taking, or how much how much you are investing in terms of time, thought, and money in your relationships, which is an extra. So all of these things Baba is pointing out every day, that instead of doing that, you must invest that in seva, you must invest that in remembering Baba. But how do you come to that place? So first step is you start practicing that I am a soul and start remembering Baba. Because you see that when you are pulled by Baba, only then you will be pulled away from Maya. So these karmic accounts they create a kind of compulsiveness inside you, which is pulling you, and that is the pull of Maya, or the pull of Karam Bandhan. But how do you get pulled away from that? Only when you remember Baba a lot, and only when you have this yoga power, then your buddhi will work so well that you will be able to understand that this is necessary and this is extra, right? It will not happen by listening to lectures and classes, but only when you start practicing I am a soul and I actually belong to Baba, and you start experiencing that love, that peace, that purity from Baba, and you start getting full from inside, then the locks of your intellect will open and you will be able to see what is the necessary investment you're making and what is the unnecessary investment you're making. So this is how you start with realizing what is your karam bandhan and what is not your karam bandhan. So let's say, there is a person, and Baba today says, let's say, for example, his children are of marriageable age, and that person asks Baba, should I get my children married? So what would Baba says? Do as you wish. Baba wouldn't say don't get them married, or Baba wouldn't say, because Baba is telling you that it's not a good karma to create. But still, if you're asking Baba, then Baba wouldn't say no, you don't do it, or I ask you not to do it. No, Baba has told us that that's not good karma. But still, if we are asking, then what would Baba understand? Baba would understand that this person is pulled by that desire to get the children married, and that desire is pulling this person. Why? Because there is a burden of sins which is pulling him to create further sinful account. Yes, so let's take very small examples. Let's say there is an argument, and do you remember there was a time when if you did not reply back in an argument, you felt very uncomfortable, and for your mental peace you had to reply back. So you would keep getting disturbed until you replied. So then you would reply and then you would feel peaceful. But is that peace true peace, or is that the peace that Maya gives you so that you can be cheated? So you see that what Maya does is, Maya will tell you that when there is a karmic account, then the only way to, when there is a karmic settlement coming up, the only way to settle is by creating another bad karma. And Maya will create this compulsiveness that if you did this, then it will get settled. And this will be so wired in your buddhi that you will feel that only if I replied back, this is going to stop. But does it stop by replying back? No. Only your karmic account gets worse and worse. But when Baba comes, Baba tells us that, if you don't reply back, then your bad karma won't be created. Correct? So Baba says that if you don't shout back, if you don't misbehave, if you are still and stable in that stage, then your karmic account will be settled. Now we listen to that gyan. But again, when that situation comes up, there is a war inside. And in that war, Maya will keep telling you, don't be a fool, just shout at that person and settle it. And you will also hear Baba saying, no, children, be quiet, be peaceful. It will not get settled, it will only increase. But then whether you win the war or don't win the war depends on who you are listening to more or who you have yoga with more. So if you don't have enough yoga with Baba, then what happens is you will still listen to Maya and do that, and that will make you feel peaceful. But listening to Baba will not make you feel peaceful because you don't have that kind of yoga with Baba. So your sanskar will pull you into creating a negative karmic account. So you see that there is this very good story, and I always share this story in the course also, that there was a grandfather, and he was telling this story to his grandson, that inside every person there are two wolves. Yes, and one is good and one is evil. and they keep fighting with each other. And then the grandfather stopped the story there. And then the grandson said, just finish the story. So he said, what finished the story? I told you that there are two wolves and they keep fighting. Then the grandson says, but who wins? So the grandfather says, the one you feed. Right? So there is a part of us which listens to Baba. There is a part of us, a big part of us, which listens to Maya. But who do we feed is very important. So if you keep remembering Baba, if all day you are holding Baba with your buddhi, if whole day you are having your communion, your yoga with Baba, then you will have enough power to choose to perform an action which relieves you from karmic account and doesn't increase your karmic burden. Now let me tell you one example. So there's this one brother and he said that, my son is not on the right path. So, my son is just not handling himself well, and he's very irresponsible with his health, with finance, with everything. And you see, Didi, every time I sit in meditation, I only am pulled by these thoughts that, my son is going astray and he's not doing well. So what will happen to him? And I start worrying about his future. And every time I sit in silence, instead of remembering Baba, it is thoughts about my son that pull me. And then he said, so you know what, Didi, I have an idea. So I am Baba's child. So I just want to belong fully and totally to Baba. So let me get my son married. And just give me permission that get your son married. And if you tell me that get your son married, I will get him married and then I'll be free. Okay, so so I said, it's not about permission. Nobody is stopping you from not getting your son married. But do you really think that your son, who is being irresponsible with his health, with his finance, with his, he's into drugs and alcohol and he's into splurging money and this and that, do you think that getting him married is going to lessen the problem or finish the problem, or is it going to amplify the problem? So I said, no, Didi, but you see, if there is a woman and she cares and she's there around him, so maybe he will get sorted. So I said, but these are assumptions. Why do you think that you have a son and you brought him up so well and he is not in a position to take care of himself? And why do you think there will be another woman out there who is in such a position that she will take care of herself, have no expectations from your indisciplined son, and also take care of the son and make his life heaven? Why do you think like that? Which world are you living in? So he said, but you see, Didi, everybody in the world is saying that. So I said, yes, because everybody in the world only knows how to aggravate karmic accounts. And in the name of settling karmic accounts, all they are doing is aggravating karmic accounts. So you see that I said, okay, if you get him married, nobody is stopping you from doing it. But there are many scenarios which are possible. And one scenario which is possible is that you get your son married and then the daughter-in-law who comes will also come and file a case on the son and on the father. And then you keep handling that case and your son both. So this is also one scenario which is very probable in this situation. And then he said, Didi, please bless me. Don't say these things. This will not happen. So I said, if it stopped by me saying it or me not saying it, then I would be a very powerful person in the world. But that's not how it is. It is Gyan which tells you that if you have a karmic account, you don't settle it by performing other acts of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. No, you don't settle it like that. So you see that this is what Baba is telling us, that whenever there is a karmic settlement coming up, so you see, when there is an illness, let's take another scenario. These days, when there is an illness, what do the people, generally people, what do they want to do in that illness? They want to just take painkillers and lie down and sleep, or watch TV and take a lot of painkillers. But nobody wants to muster the strength to, finish that illness by keeping themselves spiritually fit. So you see that when Dadi used to have, Janki Dadi used to have these phases of karmic settlement through the body, what she used to do is just, just be in Baba's remembrance, be very quiet and settle that karmic account. And she would never complain, she would never crib, she would take the medication but not extra. So, it is not just the medication that she relied on. So Baba says medication 5%, yes, meditation 50%, and 45% good wishes. The good wishes that you have earned will work. But do we pay attention to just the medication, or do we pay attention to the meditation also and the good wishes also, that to earn the good wishes that will help us at that time? So Baba says that, I am teaching you the methods to settle karmic account, and karmic accounts don't get settled when you go the worldly way. So, the worldly way is, so let's say there is a bad relationship. There's somebody who is controlling you or dominating you, or there's somebody who's abusing you all day. Then what do you have to, so you go and file a case against them, or you seek legal help. Is that going to help? Yes, so yes, that will help you. That will help you leave the person. But the thing is, why do you have to go to these lengths to leave the person? You can leave them just like that also. But it is anger which is driving you. It is attachment which is driving you into such vengeance. And if you can't deal with your own emotions, if you can't find solution to your own emotions, then do you think the world will find solutions to your relationships? So no. So if you are performing acts driven by, the bhavna to seek vengeance or revenge, or if you are driven by acts if you are driven by anger which is making you perform certain acts, that is not going to lead to a solution. Yes, and I remember there was this one brother, and he said that I had some problem with my neighbor, and I made a complaint about him to the police. And the thing is, he was a very powerful person, and because I complained, he could move the whole system, from the top to the bottom, and he made my life miserable after that. So you see that this is how it works. So you don't settle karmic accounts by using your physical power, physical, approach, or physical contacts. You settle karmic accounts by working on the anger that is rising inside you, the feeling of revenge that is rising inside you. So if there is something on the outside which is unsettling you inside, if there is something which is causing you a lot of trouble inside, then first deal with your own emotions. And how do you do that? With yoga power. And when you have enough yoga power, when you are in a place of peace inside, despite everything outside, then you will be able to come up with a solution which will actually be a solution. That solution could be a communication, that solution could be a conversation, that solution could be anything. But in order to arrive at that solution, you need to be in a place of calmness inside, in a place of purity inside. And Baba says this is the only way to settle karmic accounts. And mostly what happens is, now let's say, Baba says that, you must invest whatever you have in seva. And then, the mind says that I must have something of my own, maybe one house, one something that is in my name, that will give me my security. But do you really think a house will give you security? What will give you security? Security is not physical. And security doesn't come from having a house or having a bank balance or something or something. Security, being secure, is a very, is a very internal thing. It's a spiritual aspect. And if you are not secure now, if you ask, if you come to Baba's place and you say, should I build a house? Baba will say, go build your house, do as you wish. But then Baba says, why do you want to build a house? So a house is a good thing to build, why not? But build it in a manner that it is used for seva. Have that intention, and have that, an intention should be followed by action also. It's not just intention. But you see, if your food is not pure, if you're bringing onion garlic into the house, if you're making that environment full of, negativity and gossip and too much of, people coming into the house, then how can it be used for seva? So Baba says, be a sevadhari, and then Baba will give you 10 houses which you can take care to do seva. But that's not, but if you just want to build a house because it is going to give you security, that's not coming from a house. So Baba says there is nothing wrong with the house. There is nothing wrong with the marriage of children. There is nothing wrong with, taking painkillers. But just know that what is the intention behind doing it. So if you know that, that the child is going to be the same, the problems are going to remain the same. But if that child is insistent on getting married, you cannot stop it. So okay, let that soul go and get married. But that's between him and his karmic account. But if you think that, marriage is going to solve a problem, it's not going to do that. Building a home is a very good idea. But if you're building a house, know that that house is not going to give you security. How you use the house, how you use the resources, and if you use it for seva, that's going to give you security, because that is punya karma. And Baba says, if you eat a painkiller, no problem. But when you eat a painkiller, what is your intention? Just the painkiller will give you 10 hours of sleep instead of 6, or you want to eat the painkiller and do some seva, so that the punya ka khata that you earn out of it is going to relieve your physical pain further. So Baba says that this is how you finish your karmic accounts. It's not like, and Baba says Maya will always tell you that the only way to finish karmic accounts is to aggravate them by by performing acts of lust, anger, ego, attachment, revenge, jealousy, fear, this and that, right? So this is how Maya will drive you crazy. But Baba says, You have to overcome the pull of Maya, and that will happen only if you meditate a lot. So let me come back to where I started. So, the yogi says that if you meditate for 8 minutes, it makes you focus on how to be successful. But if you meditate for 1 hour, it relieves you of the desire to be successful. And if you think that Baba should help you reach your limited goals, then you may keep running after those limited goals, and you will draw yoga power from Baba, and you keep running after those limited goals, and maybe you achieve them also, but then in the long run those limited goals are not going to serve you, because in the long run we are all dead. So even those limited goals that you attained are not going to be there for you. But Baba says, if you use yoga power, if you use this power of being considering yourself a soul and remembering Baba, to finish that fire of lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed, desire, fear inside you, then you will be able to really see what is worth investing it, what is worth investing your time, thought and energy, body, mind and wealth into. And if you invest in that thing which Baba tells you to invest, that will give you a long-term return, and that will not be deceiving you at the end. So this is what Baba is talking about, settling karmic accounts today. And then Baba today says that just put a break to all those negative thoughts. So Baba today says that learn the art of steering your thoughts in the least time possible, and learn the art of applying a brake, and the power of your intellect cannot then go to waste. So you see that there is this one brother and he's a student. So he said that every day I sit to study, but I am not studying. So I said, why you're not studying? So he said, 8 hours I am sitting on the table, but I am not studying for even 8 minutes. So I said, what are you doing those 8 hours? So he said, as soon as I sit to study, I have this thought, if I crack the exam, then what am I going to do? Okay, and then I start looking for which placements I'm going to apply for and which positions I'm going to apply for, and I start going in that direction. And then suddenly I have a thought, but what if you fail? And then I start thinking about how my father would react and how my mother would react and how everybody would be very angry with me. So this is where my thoughts go. So you see, this is what Baba is talking about. You see that when our thoughts start going in a certain direction because of a certain emotion, so because of fear or of desire or of any kind of emotion, they start driving your thoughts and you don't apply a brake to it, then what you start doing is you start using your buddhi on it, right? So that brother, what is he doing? He is creating scenarios and he is also spending his buddhi thinking about, taking decisions about how he would operate in these scenarios. And if you use your buddhi in this way, then all the capacity of your buddhi is going to go to waste. And the second thing is, one thing, it will be wasted. Second thing is, it will also, because you see, wherever your buddhi goes, creation happens. So it is also going to create that destiny for you. So Baba says, whenever your thoughts start going in a direction which is not appropriate with your current condition, you see, right now, if there is nothing which you have to do about it, then just stop those thoughts, steer it in another direction, apply a brake. Otherwise, the power of your buddhi will be misused greatly. So, there is this another example which I would give you in this regard. So there's this Mata, and she said that whenever my husband insults me, I have this thought that I will leave the house, go to another city, live there, find a job, this, that, and the other. And she says, I spend days thinking about it. And the thing is, I have never left home. But I have spent at least half my life thinking about how I would survive in another city. So you just think about how we are misusing the power of our intellect. So Baba says, whenever you have these fancy thoughts, just put a brake to them, otherwise the power of your intellect will be misused greatly. Okay, Om Shanti.